Right up here.
Can the winds change direction? Do they do that often and make it a threat to another area quickly?
Do the winds change direction often and make it a threat to another area quickly?
Yes. Now the winds will change all the time from cold fronts that pass through here, monsoonal moisture. The typical pattern here is west-east. That's the general pattern. But as fronts move through, these winds can completely change. So yeah.
I have two questions. What is the rate of the movement of the fire on the western slope? How many hundreds of feet is it moving, or in how many blocks? And the second one is, if you have a 25-mile-an-hour wind, does that necessarily mean that the fire can carry at 25 miles an hour?
Okay, good question. What is the rate of spread on the western flank of the fire?
That'd be in Tom's hand there.
Well, it's going to vary with the winds, but this fire, once it ran up the major hill, really the rate of spread has not really been extremely high. It's probably moving, somewhere between 100 to 120 feet per hour, which isn't much. The other question is, can a 25-mile-an-hour wind move a fire that quickly? Yeah. If it's lined up, correctly with the topography and with the wind and the aspect of the mountain, it can, but normally not, because normally there's hills in the way, there's trees that help block the wind, and many other factors. So, but I think the bottom line is one thing working in our favor here is this fire has not moved hard for almost a week, and that's a good thing.
Okay, right here.
How bad was Clareville hit?
How bad was Clareville hit? Steve Rawlings is one of our operations section chiefs, so he'll talk with you about that.
Good evening. Yeah, my name's Steve Rawlings. I'm one of the ops chiefs. And well, you can probably see it, possibly some of the front rows, but Clareville really is intact. No structures or that I'm aware of were burned there. There is line along this private land along Clareville, and the threat is really moving away from Clareville. So we're pretty happy about that, and it's looking good. Probably in the next day or two, we can feel comfortable with Clareville and say that fire is not going to impact it at all. We feel real good about it though at this time.
Right here in the green.
I own a cabin right off the Saddle Springs Road, and I just heard it young. I know it's been closed. There's 24 of us that own property up there. Can anybody let me know what's going on right in that area?
Okay, she owns a cabin off of Saddle Springs Road, and she'd like to know what's going on specifically in that area.
Whereabouts on Saddle Springs?
There's 24 of us. It's 9 miles up on the Bodfish side.
Valley View? Valley View?
Northwest.
Okay, yeah, I'm just making sure. I've heard of it. I know we have structure protection in there. We've had it in there. We'll continue to have it for 24 hours. And right now, the threat to that looks good. Again, we're trying to put some line down into the towards Erskine Creek, which will put what we're calling a corner on it. It's going to be real difficult to get all the way down in there, but we're trying to put a corner on that by Livestock, because you're familiar with that. And we're hoping that, or at least we're planning that it's not going to come back up towards Saddle Springs Road, and the fuels are starting to burn out a little bit, hit some natural barriers. So that's our thoughts. You know, we'll have to wait and see, but right now there's not a big threat there, but we're you know, keeping a good eye on it.
Another aspect of that question is once a road closure is put in place, the Sheriff's Department does perform patrols in the area to make sure people aren't getting in there to do ill will with your property. So that's also in place.
Okay, right here in the front.
Yeah, it seems like each year on 4th of July, we have visitors who come up and shoot off some illegal fireworks. Are any extra precautions being taken this year to try to prevent additional fires?
Okay, every year visitors come and shoot off a lot of fireworks. Are there any precautions being taken?
Yes, they are. Additional signs have been posted about fireworks being illegal in this area. It was mentioned that they're illegal on forest land, but they're also illegal on state responsibility area land, which is, if you're not standing on Forest Service land, you're either standing on BLM or state responsibility area land in the entire basin up here. So fireworks of any type are not allowed. And we do have fire protection resources on standby as well.
Hi, my name is Francis Moore. I'm with the Sheriff's Department. I'm the commander of the Substation Division. Part of the Substation Division, we have some off-highway vehicle teams and as well as some other teams that we're going to be deploying in the valley because of the threat of the fire, as well as just the 4th of July weekend. So we will have extra patrols in the campgrounds and in some of the other areas where we usually have campers or people parking out. And they will be enforcing the fireworks codes, and I believe it's a $1,500 fine per shot. So a few of those tickets and they won't do it again if nothing else.
We are also posting that information. We've got 10 bulletin boards up around the communities here locally that we're posting information, and that information is also posted on those extra bulletin boards that are up right now because of the fire. And we also have several websites, Kern County, Sequoia National Forest, and the fire team, where we're also posting that information. So we're really working hard to get that out. Okay, right here in the blue.
How far away is the fire from the top of Bodfish Canyon Road?
How far is the fire from the top of Bodfish Canyon Road? Quite a ways. Okay. It's a long ways away from that. Okay. All right, right here.
Will the lake patrol be helping with the fireworks part of it from the lake side, helping the sheriff from the land side?
Okay. Will the patrol be helping the sheriff from the lake side with the
lake patrol?
The lake patrol.
Yes. The officers on lake patrol will have the ability to call the officers on shore and direct them into illegal barks if they see it. I don't know if that's going to be done after dark because there are rules about boats on the lake after dark.
Okay, right here.
This might be Mrs. Armstrong, and I don't know your name, I forgot, correct. You were mentioning about animals. Now, those that have livestock, cattle, they have a lot of strays. Is there a website that maybe we might be able to get in touch with or check with the state ID? If there's any livestock that may be on, if they take down?
Okay, so you're asking about cattle, specifically livestock, and there's any way to check on that on a website or?
Can we go through Styler?
Yeah, Mark is acting as Mark Styler is a resource advisor on the incident, and he's our range conservationist. And he's been working with the permittees as far as livestock.
I appreciate you guys. I know it is a very